Yep.
Sporting school.
Recent photos.
Close the gate.
You'll need to set up a jump down there too, Lee. I think.
Good morning all. Céad Míle Fáilte. Many welcomes to the Breed Village at 2014 Equitana. My name is Jackie Mellett and I live at Broadford, about an hour's north of Melbourne, where I've got Dunmanus Connemara stud. And I'd like to later on give you a short introduction to the Connemara pony in relation to their origin and characteristics. First, however, I'd like to introduce Chelsea Winter and her beautiful pony Leilani. And Chelsea has given me a lovely story here as to how her and Leilani met up, which I will read out to you first of all. So Leilani was born on the 2nd of February 2007 at the Cahin Stud in Ballarat, Victoria. She was born from a buckskin Connemara mare, Cahin Cleopatra, and a grey Connemara stallion, Green Hills Trooper Thomas, who sadly passed away this year. When Cleopatra was in foal with Leilani, she became quite sick, and Annette and Henry from Cahin Stud were worried that they were going to lose either the mare or foal or both. Luckily, however, Cleo produced a beautiful little buckskin Connemara filly that was so tiny that she could walk straight underneath her mum's tummy. Chelsea first met Leilani when she was looking for her first pony to break in. She'd seen Cahin Stud advertising in Horsefield, so decided to go and have a look at what was on offer. There were 4 ponies for sale that day, but she chose Leilani due to the fact that of her beautiful buckskin colour, and also that she had a nice, quiet arm. It was her original intention to work this pony up and sell her on in a couple of years' time, but here we are, 5 years later, and she's Chelsea's go-to pony to do anything on. And at this stage, she doesn't intend on letting her go. Leilani has a can-do, quiet and smart nature. There was never a set breaking in time, as Chelsea could put a saddle and bridle on her at 3.5 years old, and there was never any miscommunication on what to do. She let Chelsea stand on her, wave plastic bags around her, put tarps over her, take her down the Warburton Trail, lead her up the paddock from the car, and many other desensitising activities. Leilani has attended pony clubs since she was able to be ridden, which means she's taken part in eventing, show jumping, trail rides, beach rides, and has even been in the games team. In saying this, speed is not necessarily Leilani's best trait. And if show jumping and cross-country courses consisted of just the one jump, that would suit her just down to the ground. Audiences watching Leilani complete a show jumping round are usually amused at just how quickly she comes back to the walk. No braking problems there. There's no point in wasting any excess energy when it's not required. Leilani has a big heart and tries her hardest in anything Chelsea asks of her. Many Connemara owners would agree that their Connemaras also do the same for them, which makes them an ideal pony for the whole family. Chelsea's mum wishes Leilani's legs could be stretched just a little bit so she could be taller for her to hop on and ride. Everywhere they go, people always ask what sort of a pony Leilani is and comment on the fact that it would be a shame that Chelsea will grow out of her, unaware that Chelsea is actually 22. People love to play with her mane and plait it and tail and peer from under her forelock and flop their mane over their head like a wing and take photos. And Leilani takes it all in her stride, like the supermodel she is. She even made it into this year's high-end feats calendar as Miss November. Chelsea also gets lots of comments about her being fat. Because she's a pony, people often think she should be finely built. However, Connemara ponies are supposed to be a stocky breed. Besides, Leilani prefers the term voluptuous. The Connemara pony is an excellent pony for any discipline. They're extremely versatile and willing to learn. Chelsea highly recommends this breed to anyone who wants a friend for life, that learns quickly, has the ability to do just about anything, and never, ever wastes any food that you might give them. So thank you, Chelsea and Leilani, for that lovely story about your partnership. Now, aside from the fact of me being Irish, my connection to this pony began a long time ago, through generations of my family in Connemara. I grew up in the times when this pony freely roamed around common in its area of origin. Drivers would often have to stop to allow herds of ponies to cross the road, and we frequently had to move mares and foals from the tasty summer grass on our local sports ground so that we could use it in the summer. The Connemara pony originates from the west coast of Ireland, in a beautiful but geographically harsh region from which the breed derives its name. This breed was shaped by its environment and necessity. Basically a region of poverty and subsistence farming in the past, all animals had to earn their keep in some form or another. A family pony at the time was required to carry seaweed for fertilizer, haul peat from the bog for fuel, hay for fodder, muster stock from the mountain, carry produce to and from the market, and the family to any church or social gatherings. Now remember, in these times, there was minimal road access, practically no public transport, and very few people at the time would own a motor vehicle. This pony needed to be economical with fuel requirements, be strong with a good bone, agile and sure-footed over the steep rocky landscape, and of a steady temperament. An excitable pony would severely impact a family's well-being, and a good pony was highly prized and treated like a family member. In the early 1900s, the pony was starting to achieve some recognition and accolades outside of the region. A local man by the name of Michael O'Malley, with the help of another local, Joe Walsh, decided to showcase this breed by bringing two ponies, a mare and a stallion, to the 1912 World Exhibition of Breeds. This was a fairly extreme undertaking at the time. It involved transporting the ponies from Roscoe to Galway City, a distance of approximately 60 miles. Then a train journey from Galway to Dublin City, another 140 miles, where they then had to take a ferry to England. From this, they still had to make their way from the coast to Kensington, London. After various efforts on Mihog's return to promote and regulate the breed, the Connemara Pony Breeders' Society was eventually formed 11 years later. This pony first arrived on Australian shores in 1963, where a gentleman by the substance to some of the existing pony bloodlines. In recent years, the breed has made itself known throughout the world, highlighting its athleticism, versatility, and good disposition in multiple equine endeavours. The breed is well known as a sports pony, especially in Europe, ridden by both children and adults, and for being highly competitive in short jumping, dressage and eventing, right up to elite levels. At the last Olympics in London, Connemara Cross Portaside's Just a Jiff successfully represented Ireland in the eventing, showing the world just what this breed can do. And at the August annual Clifton Connemara Pony Show in County Galway, Ireland, a purebred pony won the puissance and set a new record, clearing a brick wall of 1.63 metres high. Today's Connemara has retained its original characteristics thanks to rigorous guidelines, be it the Parent Breed Society and its daughter societies worldwide. It remains especially renowned for its jumping ability, and I've seen these ponies in Ireland competing with and often leading the way in cross-country and on the hunting field. You can see there that in temperament they are very trainable. They're frequently bold and strong in personality, a trait that with time and training gives you an animal willing to tackle whatever the rider puts their mind to. Physically, they're a low-slung pony with plenty of bone and presence. Their gait and stride tends to be more like that of a taller animal. They often mature later, and it's not unusual to see a pony not reach its full height and expansion until 5 or 6 years old. Their build facilitates riders of various shapes and sizes, and my husband, who's 6'3" and of a rugby playing build, can ride one of these ponies around the 14-hand mark and does not look underhorsed. Now, did I mention before expansion and fuel economy? We Connemaras love the grub. Definitely a regional trait. Besides the benefit of driving on the stiff of a chaff bucket, good for the pony, not so good for the people. This obsession provides a great distraction method for when we want to do nasty things, and a great incentive when you want to learn new things. Talk to any Connemara out there and you will hear several funny food stories. Who buys a Connemara? It's generally a pony suitable for the entire family. Often bought by adults who roll when they're young and now wish to get back into riding on something that's low maintenance and sensible now that they have kids and a job to juggle. This pony can be ridden on trail rides, stock work, but can also achieve higher levels in adult rider club or any of those disciplines if desired. Often you find you end up owning 1, 2 or 3 more ponies. They do tend to accumulate because you find that your mount has been requisitioned by your kids. Why not? You can see they're basically such a fun pony to ride. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Thank you, Leilani. And just a Leilani. Now, if anybody has any questions about the breed or would like to come and say hello to Chelsea and Leilani, come and see us at the Connemara Pony Pavilion in the breed tent.
Oh,
The real smell of horse.
yeah.
I'm not nervous at all. There is go jumping around. You can't cope. And then you go to that. Yeah. Yeah. Ask if you can test out the tray of the truck and see if she'll fit. She goes further. She goes on carpet.
You just hold the glasses. Careful my lens don't drop out.
This explains what's just going to happen.
Hey?
This explains what's just going to happen.
You guys move right back.
That, like in two sections.
This is loosen hay, and this is what horses evolved to do. So she's going to get this long fibrous piece of cellulose that is rich in nutrients, and she's going to chew it, and you'll watch, oh yeah, probably haven't had lunch. I doubt it. She's had lots of lunch times. And you'll notice that the lower jaw moves laterally. So essentially the upper jaw is still, and the lower jaw rotates side to side. Now horses are like us. They either eat one way or the other. Occasionally you'll get them stopping and swapping and changing, and a horse that is swapping and changing, there's generally something wrong with their teeth, their tongue or their throat mechanism. Things aren't quite right, and we'll talk about that later. But generally they'll methodically eat one way. She'll be mixing lots of saliva, thanks Locke, with the cellulose to make a nice soft mushy ball. But what she's actually doing is it's a food processing unit. So then with a drop nose band, they clamped it shut. What do you want the horse to do? Open its mouth or shut it? You'd like it shut. Apparently they listen more when their mouth's closed. That works for a lot of things. So what do you want the horse to do? Open its mouth or shut it. So the size is really important. But you take that big bat to the saddlery and say, look, my horse isn't really happy in that, and they'd sell you another one. Slightly different, and on it would go. It wasn't until I became a horse dentist I started to question. I thought I was doing horses' teeth and doing the best job I could, but they're still having behavioural problems. That a very good horse breaker that doesn't live far from here, Johnny Patterson, suggests help push the intestines a little bit further more into the diaphragm, which facilitates getting air out of the lungs. Front legs then get engaged to go forward again, and the horse breathes in. So horses take one stride, one breath, and you'll hear them when they're cantering along. You'll hear a noise, and when they gallop, they just do that faster with the way you want to go. That the bit is going to give the horse a different message, where the bit touches on the palate, on the creases of the lip, and the pressure it puts on the tongue. If we look at the upper jaw of the horse, this is the hard palate. And Hayley and Lachlan are here to help, but thank you for your attention and enjoy your horses.
Just one of them.
We did have the tail. I know, is it real? It is real.